Hey everyone. During my 2021 trip, one of the things I wanted to see in Nova Scotia were lighthouses, and so I did a solo trip on the Lighthouse Route. As the name suggests, the Lighthouse Route is a great way to introduce yourself to lighthouses in Nova Scotia, and to enjoy the surrounding natural beauty at the same time. So if you are planning to visit some famous lighthouses in the province, then stick around and I'll provide important information you need for your own adventure. The Lighthouse Route is a scenic route stretching 585 kilometers from Halifax to Yarmouth. Most of the route is on local roads, with only a small portion on Highway 103, one of the main provincial highways. Visiting lighthouses along the route is a given, but you also get to visit small towns that dot the route. The top 5 list is in no particular order. After you visit the much popular Le Havre bakery, drive another several minutes to the south and make a slight detour to Fort Point Lighthouse. In front is an old cemetery which speaks to the history of the area. The lighthouse's unique rectangular-shaped grey clapboard wood building, where the top half tapers very slightly. Unlike many lighthouses, there is a residential component attached to it, so the lighthouse keeper doesn't have to go outside to the lighthouse. There are lots of interpretive signs explaining the local history. There are also several picnicking areas and a rocky beach to explore. Finally, there is a museum in the old residence. Although not on the Lighthouse Route, and you need to hike 30 minutes, the Terence Bay Lighthouse is a small wooden lighthouse located at the edge of the coastline. The hike is easy, as it meanders through scrubland. And once you are at the lighthouse, there are plenty of rocks to sit on while you enjoy the landscape. There is a shorter way to the lighthouse from Sandy Cove Road, but you do have to traverse through unmarked properties. This lighthouse is unique because it is built on a sandbar. When the tides are low, you can walk on the ocean floor to the lighthouse itself. Other than that, the lighthouse is a typical East Coast lighthouse with white wooden clapboard and a bright red cap. If you are planning to visit Shelburne, and you should, Sandy Point Lighthouse is a 10-minute drive from the town center. There is free parking, and the property is used as a community center with a central post box and a common meeting room in the main building. Probably one of the most recognizable lighthouses in Nova Scotia, other than Peggy's Cove Lighthouse, is this one. There has been a lighthouse on the site since 1840, and was one of 2 in the province with a revolving white flashing light when it was built at the time. The version that you see today was built in 1962 and is rather modern in design with its slender shape, but is taller than your average lighthouse you see in Nova Scotia. Surrounding the lighthouse are incredible rock formations and a gravel trail where you can take in the breathtaking ocean scenery. I am definitely leaving this famous lighthouse since it is so popular. My first visit in 2021 was timely because a new observation platform was constructed, so everyone can enjoy the iconic views safely, and yes, the platform is barrier-free as well. In fact, glass is used for the railing, so those in wheelchairs and kids can equally enjoy the lighthouse. There are certainly a lot of places to explore along the Lighthouse Route, some of which are recommended to visit. Located right on the Lighthouse Route, the small town of Mahone Bay is a picturesque with plenty of history. The most recognizable landmarks are the 3 churches that are located almost side by side. The town's commercial street is also pretty with colorful wooden buildings next to historic residential estates. There are a number of bed and breakfast establishments here, one of which I stayed is the Fairmont House Bed and Breakfast. The owners are friendly, breakfast is decent, and the rooms are comfortable. I stayed in this location in August 2022 during a heat wave, and fortunately it had air conditioning. The owners do allow pets, so if you're not a pet lover and there happens to be a few dogs, then you might have to accept the situation. There are a number of restaurants in Mahone Bay, two of which I can recommend, but one of them is Oh My Cod, and as the name suggests, specializes in seafood. I had the lobster mac and cheese, and it was delicious, with large chunks of lobster and shrimp. The next location is the Barn Coffee and Social House. The shop doesn't only sell coffee and food, but also gift ideas as well. So it's a great place for buying souvenirs. One of my favorite towns along the Lighthouse Route, and possibly one you cannot miss, is Lunenburg. There are lots of things to see and do here, such as strolling through the historic neighborhood, or learn about the fisheries industry at the Fisheries Museum of the Atlantic. There's a lot of history around town, so attending one of the several walking tours to learn about the town is really useful. I recommend to stay at least overnight in Lunenburg because there are so many things to see and do in town and in the surrounding area. One bed and breakfast I've stayed twice is the Pelham House, a gorgeous, colorful building built in the early 1900s. The establishment is owned by a couple along with their dog Harry. The rooms are immaculate with a tasteful decor. Although there is no air conditioning, there is a slight breeze in the evening because it is perched on an elevation. If the room doesn't entice you, then the food definitely will. Their house-made breakfasts are more than restaurant quality. The multi-course meal is both visually appealing and so delicious at the same time. Nova Scotia is a beautiful province with so much natural scenery and the small towns to explore. There are also many lighthouses scattered along the coastline, which is a perfect excuse to go on a road trip. The Lighthouse Route is only one of several routes in the province and to me is totally doable as a solo traveler. If you've done the Lighthouse Route, share your experience in the comments down below. If not, do you intend to do such a road trip in the near future? Well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.